Go down to the description box right now to hear more Malcolm, less Martin, my man Riz featuring Conway the Machine in its entirety in the description box right now exclusively on iTunes. Don't wait. Hit the button right now. Let's go. What's good and what up? It's your brother Sam and here at Viral Hip Hop News. Do me a favor, family, before we get started with the content. Y'all know what to do. Go up top and hit that like button. Alright, so I've seen some interesting things come about on Oprah's Twitter the last couple of days that I thought would be interesting to talk about, have some dialogue about, in particular on this platform, especially given all the context and commentary we've given to the Leaving Neverland documentary, where Michael Jackson was being accused by James Safechuck and Wade Robson of child molestation, pedophilia. We all know the story. Documentary, movie, whatever you want to call it, directed by Dan Reed and stamped for approval by one of the biggest TV icons, one of the biggest moguls in all the world, Oprah Winfrey, supposedly friends and avid supporters of Michael Jackson. Very surprising that she had her say in this. Oprah Winfrey aired a special after the two-night broadcast of Dan Reed's HBO documentary, Leaving Neverland, which explored, like I said, allegations of sexual abuse. The documentary showed no direct evidence that either man was telling the truth, even though Oprah Winfrey did give her stamp of approval. And we have since learned that both Wade and James made their first public accusations against Michael Jackson in 2012 after filing a $1.5 billion lawsuit. Before then, both men had stated publicly that Michael Jackson never molested them. Now, if you don't know, I'll leave a card up top and I'll leave a little bit on the back end of this commentary. Oh God and I over at the Uncensored Truth podcast interviewed Brandy Jackson and Taj Jackson, niece and nephew of Michael Jackson, and they went into that as well, saying that James Safechuck and Wade Robson publicly came out in 2012 and had their first lawsuit, and that's after publicly saying that none of it ever happened. That being said, HBO and OWN, Oprah's network, aired a special interview hosted by Oprah Winfrey featuring Wade and James entitled Oprah Winfrey Presents After Neverland. It was taped before an audience of sexual abuse survivors and featured a question and answer between Oprah, Safechuck, and Robson. Now, like I've said in numerous conversations involving this commentary, I've questioned the fact on why Oprah Winfrey never cross-examined, never questioned the credibility of these two men. It seemed as though a narrative was being steered, and it was a very sickening feeling given as though you got a man 10 years removed in his death, or 10 years in death, and he cannot defend himself properly, and now it seems as though his narrative is steered. Now, at the end of the special, final installment of HBO's Leaving Neverland documentary on Monday, or excuse me, when it happened, Oprah Winfrey turned to the three men she was interviewing before saying, "We're all going to get it," obviously given the backlash that the Michael Jackson supporters would get Oprah Winfrey, Robson, and Safechuck after the documentary that had plenty of leaks and holes in it after numerous research. She also went on to say, "Don't let anybody in the world make it about what Michael Jackson did or did not do. It's about this thing, this indigenous pattern that's happening in our culture that we refuse to look at." Oprah Winfrey then dropped numerous posts on her Twitter in support of Wade Robson and James Safechuck, also retweeting the documentary, the series, numerous videos coming out of YouTube, clips from the documentary, and we even had Dan Reed, the director of the documentary, movie, bullshit, whatever you want to call it, stating this: Oprah Winfrey denounces Michael Jackson while praising Leaving Neverland, Daily Mail Online. He posted that on his Twitter March 1st, 2019. Obviously, when everything was starting to go on, things were starting to get hot. Sundance had premiered it, HBO had premiered it. They just came off of their series with Oprah Winfrey, trying to get it in full promotional move and motivation. And now we have it March 31st, almost a month since the documentary had premiered on HBO. And as you can see on Twitter, I'm going to drop it right now. You don't see anything from Oprah Winfrey's Twitter right now. I'm scrolling through up and back, and there's nothing about the Leaving Neverland documentary. Very interesting note, if you ask me, why Oprah Winfrey would, one, all of a sudden, show her support, outspoken support, have even a Neverland documentary recaps and shit, but now get rid of it when all of the news and you have different family members from the Jackson family coming out and saying things like I said, Ty Jackson and Brandy Jackson coming out on our platforms. Thank you so much for that. And talking on behalf of Michael Jackson and talking about Oprah Winfrey, which I will drop on the back end of this video, and why she would be even supporting this. Very opportunistic, like Taj would allude to. He gave his reason as to why. Very interesting perspective. You have people out here now saying that she wants to backtrack, given the backlash that she's receiving and her launch of this Apple streaming service she has going on. But needless to say, very interesting move. You've seen Dan Reed, who did not know Michael Jackson at all prior to him even making this movie. He was just looking for the next big bag, which I found out talking to Taj and Brandy as well. Very interesting to me. You drop this documentary and don't even know the dude. But that being said, Oprah Winfrey is definitely backtracking right now. You could speculate why. Y'all leave a comment in the comment section right now. Let me know why you think that is and if it will work. If her plan will work in her favor and people will forget the fact that she tried to dog Michael Jackson 10 years removed of his death and basically tried to sign and check the fact that this documentary needed to be put on as fact. Y'all let me know right now. Also, in the description box, you links to our Twitter, IG, and all the platforms that Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, runs. Push Up with Sam Ant, the Wake and Bake podcast coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm excited about that. And of course, you can check out the most underrated, most dangerous podcast on YouTube to date, the Uncensored True Podcast from my brother Oh God over at Hip Hop News Uncensored, dropping content every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and live Friday evening exclusively on the Uncensored True Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of y'all's support. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share, and support. Always trying to keep it raw, real, and uncut here at Viral Hip Hop News. Until next time, until next story, I sincerely appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I'm out of here, man.
About in particular with Oprah after she did, she could or kind of followed up the Leaving Neverland and had Safechuck and Robson on. And one of the biggest things was why, especially in that position, Oprah, supposedly someone that's befriended Michael Jackson, was close. Why not cross-examine these two up here? Why not question their credibility? It was none of that. It was more narrative being steered. So want to talk about Oprah, what your thoughts were on that whole situation, and why, in your opinion, did you think that she never questioned the credibility of these two, given their shaky and rocky explanations each time they talk about it?
She was, I mean, if you saw the, she was feeding them. She was basically guiding them down a path. You know, when they would say something, she would correct them in a way to make it sound like, oh, that's part of why you're a victim. And it's like, I mean, I have my own thoughts about it, because I mean, Oprah was also the one that, you know, when my uncle passed, she wanted the exclusive interview with my grandma and the kids. And you know, I was there and she was talking about how Michael was misrepresented. You know, no one understood Michael and we were trying to get the real Michael. So I think in a sense, Oprah will say what Oprah wants to say to get the interview, you know, and she's done that to our family many times. And so we have a different view of Oprah than everyone else does in that sense, because, you know, we've been hurt by her many times in the past.
And like you said, you know, she didn't even give 1 second to see the other side of it. As soon as that documentary was announced that it was going to be aired, it was followed up with Oprah's interview. Yeah. So we knew that interview was going to be happening with Oprah before we even saw the film. Yeah.
She blessed it, basically said, this is the truth and you guys run with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's been the hardest thing, is that, you know, all those people that follow Oprah blessed it as well without even seeing it beforehand. And it's just been frustrating for us, especially since there's plenty of people that Oprah knows that she could have done a special on. Yes. You know, someone very big right now that's in the news that no one's talking about, that she's friends with, you know, Mr. Harvey Weinstein. And, you know, all, you know, I feel that this is a bunch of smoke and mirrors in a way, that as long as we're talking about Michael Jackson, we're not talking about Harvey. And that's been the case with a lot of these so-called celebrities that are in for real trouble, is that Michael Jackson covers all of them in a way. They want him to be the poster child, even though he's innocent.
And the only way to sell that is to bulldoze everything else that could potentially stop that. Yeah. And that's what they did. The media bulldozed.
They forced the narrative, basically. And then they had Oprah bless it. And so everyone just took it for truth.
Do you have any
the race that you belong to?
Hopping out the Lex, I felt like Malcolm X. Marching with the shooters like Martin Luther. 40 cal SK or the fucking Ruger. Don't ever question if I got the heart to shoot.
As we walk